Well, thank you for sticking with us here on Good Morning Uganda. I'm Olive Monica Najuma. Now, we have been receiving reports regarding accidents that have been taking place in different parts of the country on highways and even within the city centers. These accidents have claimed many a life. Some people have lost limbs, others have actually lost life. So one wonders, what is the major cause of accidents on our roads, both on highways and even within the city centers? Is it reckless driving? Is it tiredness? Is it unskilled drivers, poorly trained drivers? What is the major cause of accidents on Uganda's roads? There can't go a month or a week where we've not had accidents. And also, we have had these accidents claim lives of prominent Ugandans and even ordinary Ugandans. And any life is important. Any life is important. But as we speak, I know that last month we lost a member of parliament to an accident. We have lost several members of parliament to accidents. We've lost family members, friends. We have lost so much. So what do we do as a country to bring this to an end? Yes, an accident may happen here and there, but if it is happening every now and then, and now that we are launching into the last months of the year, the festive season comes with many more accidents. So that's the conversation we'd like to look into. And I am with a trainer of drivers. He will tell us more on why there are more accidents on the road, the causes of accidents on our roads, and what we should do to avoid accidents as passengers and also as drivers and pedestrians, because we are all in this. An accident can happen to you as you cross the road, or as you walk on the pavement, or as you drive. So all of us are concerned, and we should be concerned when it comes to this. I'm speaking to Mr. Tamale Wilson, who is the director, Country View Driving School, and he is the one that will be giving us tips on how to avoid accidents on our roads. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Oliver.
You're welcome to Good Morning Uganda.
Thank you very much, and for hosting me here. And I'm happy, I'm obliged to be here and talk to Ugandans about the diseases which kill us a lot, and one of them is accidents.
We have now turned it into a disease.
Yes, yeah, there are other diseases. Accidents is a disease which has claimed lives of people, injured many people are staying so much in hospitals and also stay so long in their internal places like a grave.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, someone normally says that an accident is something that happens when you didn't expect it, but sometimes these occurrences are happening because sometimes we bring them to ourselves. But before we delve into the causes of accidents in the country, let's first of all look at one's readiness. Basically, how is your body like before you get onto the road?
You said maybe one of the answers that they happen without somebody's knowledge, but also I'll add on something, or if that accidents happen because of somebody making a mistake. The mistakes made by road users at large are not mentioned about drivers only of different vehicles, class of vehicles and other things. But also we have to make sure that that person who is using the road must be fit and well. If you come to our roads, no matter whether you are driving or you are walking on our roads, you have to be fit and well. Think about yourself. Think about your body and physical condition. Be ready for the journey, you have prepared for a certain purpose. Make sure you don't have anything disturbing you in your head or thinking or attitude. So make sure you really you are not fatigued, because some people make accidents because of fatigue and also tiredness. So you have to make sure that the vehicle, before you come to the vehicle for inspection or for checks before you start the journey, make sure really you are a person who is sober and who is having a right attitude to use our roads generally.
So basically, before you get onto the road, make sure you're not tired or fatigued. But what if I don't have an alternative? I am tired, but I must get to where I'm supposed to go. No,
you have to use other means. We have other means of transport, more especially when we come to vehicles and the road.
Yes.
We have other alternatives. If you are tired, if you are fatigued, you can jump on other means. We have other means like bicycles,
Yes.
like border borders, like PSV, taxis, and others. So you can also have another person drive you, hire another person, do that. But also you can stop going to where you are going if you think. You can ask your doctor if really you can use any of those means of transport.
And what if I'm on some strong medication? There is medication which does not stop you from operating machinery and even driving, but sometimes it might cause you to be drowsy.
Yeah.
And so if I feel any inkling of drowsiness, am I supposed not to drive?
It will be like somebody using alcohol. If you are using alcohol, there is a content somebody is supposed to have in his breath or in his blood. That's why we use kawinyemu and other things. So if you know that you have a certain disease, it can be chronic, it can be maybe actual, it catches you at that particular time, just ask your medical doctor if that medicine cannot cause you drowsy or something to do with your healthy brain and your attitude.
Okay. Now, every time there is an accident and police gives a report, they will say it was maybe careless driving or overtaking and being overtaken. But what do these terms mean? Overtaking and being overtaken?
Yes. Many causes of accidents are there. If we talk about overtaking and being overtaken, we talk about somebody passing another vehicle at a particular place or different places. It means that somebody overtaking another vehicle thinks that he's slower than he's supposed
the
to
person
be.
that
The
they're
person
overtaking
who is being
is
overtaken.
slower.
Yeah.
Yes.
The person who is overtaking thinks that that one is slower than he should be, maybe because of certain conditions. But also somebody can do it because of impatience. And so if somebody does that, he has to make sure that he should know that this is a public road which is used by all types of people on different vehicles. So overtaking means you pass that somebody, but also as you do that, you have to make sure that you can comply to the rules. And also you have to know that your vehicle can do that, or even the other person can do that. And you have to really ask within yourself what has happened. Is there a reason why I'm overtaking? And you have to know that you had to budget and time your journey before you do that.
Budget, so you shouldn't don't overtake because you're running late.
No, no. You have to make sure you have to budget your journey. You have to know where you are going, and you have to know the reason why I'm really driving this vehicle, and the purpose why I'm at this position, and why I acted like this, and why I made sure that this doesn't happen to me.
All right.
Yes.
So the law says keep left unless you're overtaking. At least that's what we do in Uganda. So as a driver, what should one consider before they overtake?
Yeah. Drivers and other road users, you have to consider many things. Number one, you have to know and ask yourself, is it necessary to overtake? You have also to ask yourself questions. If I'm going to overtake, have I warned somebody I am trying to overtake? Is it the right time and right place to do that? Consider about the road surface. Is it tarmac? Is it malam? Consider about adverse conditions, change of weather. Consider about am I driving and trying to overtake through fog, dust, or smoke? That also can be a problem. Smoke makes a pillar in the road, and then you lose your vision. So you have to consider the things as before you attempt to overtake. But the most important thing, does it make sense if I overtake right now in such a situation and in such a condition to be safe for me, the people I have, and all other road users.
Okay, so now you did say consider, is it maram, is it tarmac, is there fog, is it raining? Yes. So let's look at each of these cases. Have you been to Shira lately?
Yes, I pass everywhere.
Have you seen the road between Nigeria up to Bulindo?
Yeah, I haven't taken trap, but I think I can have examples of such a road.
So it's, I don't even know the word to use. It is so terrible. And now it has gullies and potholes, and because the tarmac was stripped off. Now, if I'm driving through a road like that and I want to overtake, it is not tarmacked. It's, I don't even know if it is maram, because it is, someone made a joke and said that there are no potholes in the road. The road is in the potholes. So on a road like that, is it even necessary to overtake? And if I must, what do I consider?
Yeah, it's very, very overtaking, by the way, is the most dangerous maneuver among others, because the accidents happen a lot during the process. If you come across such a road, you can ask, is it rainy? Or is it dusty? Then I go ahead and do the actions I'm going to take now. If the road is like that, and you think that if I do it at a certain time, not considering others, not doing what we talked before, knowing where I'm going and timing and making a trip plan, you have to make sure that you will be patient with others, tolerate other people's actions. Think about the place where you are, and then it will not be taking 10 kilometers or so. It might be a short time, but still you have to make sure that you are calm, and your actions should not cause other road users problems, delays, and also try in any case to create a solution instead of problems to other road users.
Now, still on this topic of overtaking as one of the causes of road accidents on our roads. There are times when you're on the road and you see that someone is overtaking about 5 cars at once. Is that safe?
No, it is not. It is not.
So if you must overtake, how many cars at a time should you gauge? I'm asking you because you're the instructor, so you're very experienced in this. So if someone is to overtake, how many cars at a time are safe to overtake if everything else has been considered and it is under control?
You have to overtake a vehicle which is in front of you to be safe. And also it will depend on where you are to do that kind of action. As we are along, we shall show you places where somebody can not or can overtake. But in a normal driving, you have to overtake where your eyes can be able to show you that it is safe for me to overtake ahead. It is safe for me to overtake behind, because a driver has two eyes, the one which scans ahead and the one which scans and gives him vehicles coming behind of him using mirrors as a second eye. So you have to make sure that when I overtake more than one vehicle, I will be able to finish that race, because as vehicles are going in a queue, that we call it, we might not call it jam, all slow moving vehicles. I have to make sure that I will be able and be safe ahead where I'm going. I'll not find some of the black spots we expect on the road. So if you take more than one, you have to make sure that you'll be safe ahead. You do it on a straight line and you are sure you have enough space to do that. Taking more than a vehicle or a vehicle which is in front, you take 5, 6, 10 is very dangerous for you, because you don't know at what time and at what place and what is ahead of you to be able to overtake all the 10 you want to do. Be sure that you use your right attitude, decision, and also judgment, and a very good plan.
Oh, interesting perspective. Now, you did mention something about overtaking behind. What exactly does that mean?
Overtaking behind is all about being overtaken in another way. Somebody trying to overtake vehicle or a vehicle and others in front should not only think about the vehicles ahead of him. He has also to think about a vehicle which is doing the same thing, or which might be doing the same thing, by looking at mirrors to see at what distance. Mirrors, the side mirrors, left, right, show us almost approaching vehicle. And the driving mirror is showing you, as a driver, the vehicles about 30 to 50 meters from your vehicle. So think about the consequences, think about as a result of not being prepared for such vehicles, but also put in mind about the size of vehicle and also the weight of the vehicle which is approaching, or which is a little bit 30 meters, 50 from your vehicle. So think about all those things, and then before you overtake. So always think ahead and also behind or rear, because of the vehicles coming behind you.
So thinking behind, or thinking about the cars behind you, is basically for you to know that you are not the only person who is considering overtaking. Someone may be considering overtaking you, or the car that is right behind you.
Somebody can just change attitude there and then. Attitude comes from brain. What comes to somebody is what he does. So you have always to deal with it. Not only vehicles behind and in front, but also vehicles coming from all sides, right, left.
And in the case of Uganda, attitude. You also have to consider border borders and bicycles and tuk-tukus. Tuk-tukus, I find them so annoying. annoying. And
Yeah.
if you ask me why, in most cases they have three tires, so they are like a mini car of sorts.
Yeah.
Because boda bodas are supposed to be on the extreme left, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But now the tuk-tuk is a bit bigger than
Yeah.
the bike, so it's not on the extreme end, not on the middle of the road, so it's even hard to overtake.
Yeah, it is a
makes
vehicle
life really
itself
hard.
because it's wide,
Yes.
almost like a vehicle. But also the attitude of people who are driving those
The
kind of
tuk-tukus.
vehicles,
Yes.
tuk-tuk, they have the same mentality because they came from the two tires and they joined that tuk-tuk, three tires.
Yes.
We call it tricycle
Tricycle,
or
yes.
quadricycle. But that attitude stays in them that I can squeeze somewhere. So you have to know that if anything happens, you have to change your thinking, you have to change your behavior, you have to think that I'm not driving two-wheeled, but also I must change my behavior as condition allows.
Well, we are speaking matters road safety, and today we are getting tips on overtaking. What is the meaning of overtaking, and what should you do as a driver before you think about overtaking? So Mr. Wilson Tamale from Country View Driving School, he is the director of Country View Driving School, is taking us through some of the tips, some of the factors that you must consider before you overtake, because according to Uganda Police Force, they say that one of the leading causes of accidents in Uganda on our roads is overtaking, mindless overtaking. People overtaking from places they're not supposed to overtake from without considering certain factors before they decide to drive on the right, because our law says keep left unless you're overtaking. But when you're overtaking, you have to consider, is it necessary? Is this the right place to do it? What are my mirrors showing me? So you can join the conversation. You can ask Mr. Wilson Tamale here a few questions, and you can do that through WhatsApp number 0709 602 592. What have you seen drivers do on the road, but also pedestrians and boda riders? I just shared my personal experience with the tricycle riders. They normally have crates of soda, beer and whatnot on those tricycles, and they are a menace to deal with on the road. So you can share your views with us so that we get an understanding of what you experience while on the road. Now, Mr. Tamale.
Yes.
I would like for us to look at some of, to look at the areas where, one, where we should overtake if we must, and two, where we should not.
Yes. Before we go to that, Oliver, we have to know, because we have talked about why drivers overtake and the other road users of different vehicles. People's attitudes as drivers of different vehicles is different. Number one, they have their own thinking why they should overtake, because maybe because of timing in the sense that programs, for example, if you are driving a boda tuk-tuk or another small vehicle or a PSV, some people have programs. I have a number in the park to catch. Buses, they might be working on route charts. Maybe I have to economize fuel. We call it fuel efficiency. Some big vehicles like buses, like trailers are coerced. Coerced means getting out of the gear and it goes down by gravity. Some other road users think that maybe if I don't, I have to get more people, like a PSV, public service vehicles, and make more roads. But they should know that they might not fulfill their goals if you die, if you are injured, if you stay much in the hospitals and other things, you ruin your family, and our economy country-wise runs down. So you should not overtake in places like black spots.
What are black spots?
Black spots are places where a driver's vision can allow him to see ahead and then get or make another intention. A black spot is a place which works like an obstacle for a driver. Corners are black spots. So if you overtake, you are very, very dangerous driver or road user in a corner or a bend. It doesn't matter how sharp it is. Places like a hill crest or hill brows, top of hills, you overtake at that time. As you try to overtake, another big bus comes from the opposite side. It will make you cap at there and then because it will not see you immediately. Places like bridges, they become narrow as people pass one another, and somebody, if you don't consider why and you don't take time, you will not fit there, and both of you can make accident. Places like junctions, because it can be as many junctions as possible. We know for going this way, going that way, but there might be others coming off road. So in junctions, it is very dangerous to do that. Places where actually there are many people gatherings, like schools, like hospitals, like soccer grounds, like churches, places which has many people and other markets created in certain areas, somebody should not overtake. So you shouldn't overtake 5 meters or 15 feet from roundabout. So it's not good and safe to overtake from there. 5 meters or 15 feet from zebra crossing or pedestrian crossings, somebody should not overtake in such a place. You shouldn't overtake where you see that you don't have visibility. There is no observation in that place because of the weather we talked about, and also the situation of the road, as we have seen. Never overtake. But also, you should not overtake where a big bus, a trailer, and other big sizes of vehicles could not even fit to pass. So always make sure you overtake at safe places where everybody can move freely and be safe when somebody overtakes. Don't overtake on the wrong side of the road, because in Uganda we drive on the left. So if you are driving on the left, it is the only side you must overtake is on the right.
And I've seen people overtake from the right, especially taxi drivers and a few errant government drivers. And actually Harrison here from NEBI is asking you why MPs and ministers usually overtake on the wrong side of the road, though I know that is a question that is beyond your pedigree. But
I can answer that.
Okay.
That happens a lot.
And by the way, as you talk about that, can you also tell us some of the cars that have right of way during times like traffic jam? Because you will find all manner of vehicles overtaking at times when they shouldn't.
Yes. Yeah, he asked a good question, but I can answer that in a way, generally, that nobody is above the law when it comes to traffic safety or road safety, as far as our Traffic and Road Safety Act is concerned. Yeah, there are special cases where that happens. For example, I have been telling the country that we should not overtake on the left because it is dangerous for us. Only when you are allowed by a policeman, you can do that. Only when the other driver in front of you is showing and making a signal that he's going to turn right. Only when you have more than one lane and maybe it is safe to overtake on the left. Or when your vehicle has a mechanical problem, it has just parked or stopped in the middle of the road or on the side where you think the gap is only on the left. You can do that, but also put things like warning hazards or double indicators and other devices. So coming to special vehicles, yes, they are there. And when we teach and consider people who are using such vehicles, we are telling that, of course, we start with the official motorcade, that is a presidential, that can pass anywhere. Ambulances.
And at any speed.
Yes, at any speed. Ambulances are given priority because of saving life and the other. But also, the one driving that ambulance must train how to use it, must be patient, must consider others, must know that as I'm doing that, I'm creating safety for everybody at that time.
But they're allowed to use a wrong lane. Let's say I'm in the right lane. Let's say it is John Babiha Road. I am going up and then the ambulance is coming down and it is using the side of the road for me that is going up.
Like I said, it is really very dangerous to all road users to drive one way, to use a wrong side. But because of what we said, or if that people can be given special time, special program for that. Vehicles like a fire vehicles can be given that priority.
Fire brigade
but
vehicles.
Also the people driving those must know where they are doing it, because considering the number of people, the community and society which is there, what is done there, what they are doing, you have also find that you will come somewhere at a certain point and you cannot penetrate and go to the place you want to save lives. Okay. So we have such a people, but I'm saying each and everybody must think twice before doing something, whether it's a special person or it's a special time or a certain kind of occasion.
So what I hear from what Mr. Tamale is saying is that in as much as you might be rushing to save lives, let's say you are an ambulance driver or you're driving a fire brigade vehicle, you still have to ensure that in as much as you probably have been given permission to use the wrong lane to get to the place where you're going to save lives, you still have to ensure that you do not create a problem in so doing that. So even if you're driving, let's say, in the wrong lane, you must ensure that you're maintaining and preserving the safety of other road users. Now, Emma from Luzira says, let's also think of dosing for the case of bus company drivers for night travels.
Yes, there is a lot of accidents happening. Some of them are off-road, some of them head-on collision, some of them rear collision, some of them tree involving vehicles with a tree, we call it stool object a collision. Some of them can be train and others, pedestrian and others. That happens a lot, but we have to know that in so doing, we have to get some more advice. The highway code is for us to advise all drivers who are using our roads. But also you have to ask your doctor if you are going to drive a long journey from 100 kilometers and on, whether it is safe for me to drive. But also doctor says that somebody must rest sleep for 7 hours, 6 to 7 hours non-stop if you are going to do that. So off-road collisions are there, and the people who are tired and fatigued, we talked about that. They happen, some people work day, all the day, and they want to drive at night to their home areas. I'm going to Kisoro, I'm going to Kavara, I'm going to Hoima, get the family, let's go. And that happens. Some people work at night. In the morning they want to drive long distances and fulfill their goals. Do different types of work in that area or in those areas. Please, if you are not fit and well, as we said before, never touch our steering, use other means of transport to keep people safe.
Now, what tip would you give to new drivers that have never driven long distance, like you said, 100 kilometers and above,
Yes.
but now they have bought this car, they have driven around Kampala, they are excited, and they're like, now let me go to Nakasongola, let me go to Mbali, let me go to Mbarara to visit my parents. Because it's said that you must be familiar with the road, even if it is in the city.
Yes.
But most people, because they drive from Entebbe to Nile Avenue, they think, oh, now I am a competent driver. So what tips would you give to someone that has never driven on a highway before they embark on that long journey?
Yes. We have more than 10 roads, and why are they called like that, and what speed somebody should drive on them. You talked about highway, meaning going somewhere more than 100 kilometers.
Yes.
If you are just coming from say a training school, like a driving school, make sure you have to start with small and short distances to get familiar, to get used to the vehicle. Yes, you got a driving license and you have got that training, you are competent, but still you have to start with short distance. Have somebody who is experienced to be on your side. You have to make sure you keep that somebody showing you, making you actually getting familiar to distances, going to your home or to places you want to go. Design the vehicle by also putting yellow plates in front and behind for other vehicles to know that this one is still
a learner.
Yeah, is not competent yet. Yeah, and they'll just get rid of you and they give you a lot of space.
Okay.
Make sure when you are doing that, time your journey, not to be on panic, to reduce impatience, and also make sure that you give a lot of time for the journey. Start early for a certain journey and make sure you stop. Your foot must always be on the brake than on accelerator. You can always make sure that with the time, that's why also, or if we extend classes to some people. You have driven for some years to come to such a vehicle which does another very different purpose or different kind of work.
You've been used to salon cars, but now you want to drive a truck.
You have been a small one and you come to another big size. You change your behavior, the way you act, the way you drive, the way you widen as you are negotiating corners and things like those. So always make sure that if more especially the question you asked, that if I'm just coming I'm from a training school, I got my vehicle, try and start with short distances, carrying somebody, having somebody to help you in that until you are used to that kind of distance.
Well, I have a few views coming through as we close. Patrick Anyima, who says he's a motor vehicle instructor at Nelco Driving School, Lira City, says to professionalize the driving sector, one must be in good health, have journey management plan, observe driving principles. For example, when you leave late, expect to arrive late, and above all, respect and treat other road users equally. Everyone on the road is supposed to be there, so don't say, that border. And then someone was asking whether it is okay to overtake in a corner, and Mr. Tamale here said it is not, because you should only overtake when you can see what's in front of you. And John Mary from Kawanda says, Mr. Tamale, reducing accidents on the road requires a collective responsibility, starting with the government by instituting motorcycle riding schools. You can't have all those borders in the country without having the riders trained. And before you, we really don't have time, but George from Toro says, this is a serious matter. Do we have any telephone number to report errant drivers? Because I remember leaving a taxi that the driver would reduce the acceleration, then the conductor would jump to put a stone to stop the taxi. Lastly, why do some drivers overtake in corners and narrow bridges? I see your views coming through, but our time is fast spent. Mr. Tamale, I would like to hear your last remarks. It could be in answer to one of these queries. These
questions. Yes, Canterview Driving School has a riding school separated with a special license for that. So bodabodas and other tukutukus and other quadricycles, you can come and have such a training in companies, and other companies I think are there. Now, if you he asked about why should we overtake without imagining situations and other things. That comes out of attitude. Also, accidents are caused because of somebody's attitude, the way he sees all around him situations and other things. So always we have to expect the unexpected all the time. Let us anticipate all the time before we act. Another thing is about their questions. We have steps to take as we also overtake to reduce accident in that kind of process. Always make sure you show people your next intention by using some of the motor vehicle accessories, but also using the arm signal. Show indicators. Don't overtake where you think that it is dangerous, and more especially big vehicles like trailers and buses. Always when we are on the roads, let us practice a lot of patience and calmness, considering that we can go and reach safely at the time we want if always follow the traffic rules. Where you see no overtaking, or where you see signs overtake, when don't overtake unless you are on the left. It's extreme left. So always people to avoid accidents, one of the accident causations is overtaking. Please take a lot of precaution when you are doing that.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Tamale Wilson. He is from Country View Driving School. You could check him out for some driving lessons. If you need a refresher course, you could also do that. I'll end with a comment from Pastor Julius Omodo from Entebbe, who says there is too much recklessness among road users. Overspeeding is a major cause of accidents, and this is always triggered by the pressure of time management. Drivers of commercial vehicles are workers who work under pressure to meet daily targets of their bosses. Government needs to come up with general road safety regulation that monitors routes that commercial vehicles cover per day, particularly those who cover long distance. Bus drivers work under hidden commands of their bosses in order to meet targets of companies daily that nobody knows. Therefore, drivers are forced to work on pressure such that they can earn payment. That is from Pastor Julius Omodo from Entebbe. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, but we can't go any further because Ruben Pima is coming up next with the sports updates. Stay tuned and we'll catch you again tomorrow.